What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from the Fallout 76 channel, covering everything Bethesda and only Bethesda every day of the Bethesda week. Hope this is the last video on Fallout 76. I said that in the last video. However, while I was uploading it, Bethesda broke their silence, and I want to cover some good news for Fallout players, and also let you know that tomorrow I've got great plans. I've got good news coming out of CD Projekt Red. We've got the Incredible Salt Mine podcast tomorrow. And also, please remember the Toys for Tots drive. We're just $1,500 short of 10,000. I think that would be a great goal. We're going to end that this week. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment to more information on that. Now, the dumpster fire has been burning brightly in the Fallout 76 crowd, and I'm starting to wonder if more people are gathering to watch it burn than were genuinely interested in playing the game. In fact, I'm pretty sure the law firm earlier, which was feeling out this class action lawsuit, may have simply been inspired by the PR. And judging on the reputation that some law firms have, that's probably the case. But nonetheless, after 2 weeks of saying nothing, Bethesda finally released some updates to Fallout 76 players, and the reaction has been relatively positive. A huge thanks to all of you who have been playing Fallout 76, embarking on this journey with us. Millions of you are playing the game. Wow, that's surprising. I didn't think there were that many customers for it. As we continue to read your feedback and watch your streams, we understand there are also a number of frustrating issues. We want you to know that we're committed to rolling out fixes and features on a regular basis and implementing changes based on your feedback. We also continue to work on the incredible list of updates for the game, including new quests, events, new vaults opening, a faction-based PvP system, and much more. We're confident with your support we can make Fallout 76 an incredible experience for years to come. Going forward, we'll also be posting Inside the Vault articles like this one on a regular basis to keep you updated on what we're working on. So this is classic damage control, but we're going to get to the good part of it. So essentially, when this happens to companies, they're not going to come out and just say, yeah, we screwed up, everything's, I said it in my first video, which you should check out from earlier today, we screwed up, all these are problems. They're not going to say that. And people don't even really necessarily want to hear that. What they want is, are you fixing it? What are you doing to fix it, and when will it be fixed? Now, it's disappointing for people who have purchased Fallout 76 up to 2 weeks ago now, have to continue to wait for base level bug fixes instead of game improvements, but that is the state we're in. And let's look at what's coming out in the updating 100 gigabyte patches, I assume. We're eager to get improvements for Fallout 76 into your hands as soon as possible. Even though we're sharing some patch dates with you today, please keep in mind that the timing may shift, like server stability and other needs, blah, 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 okay? Don't hold us to it, is what they're saying. On December 4th, which is about a week from today, we'll bring an increase in stash limit. This is a known issue, so that's good, as well as a variety of performance and stability improvements, balance changes, multiple bug fixes for the game. We'll have full patch notes available later this week ahead of Tuesday's update. Some notable big issues. This is what I want to talk about. Stash size increase. We know many of you have been asking for that adjustment to the stash storage limit. We're happy to share that we're increasing it from 400 to 600. While this is still somewhat conservative, we plan to increase the storage cap further once we verify that this change will not negatively impact the stability of the game. Meaning, do our servers have the capacity? This is adding a lot of extra data to every single user across the entire world, so let's make sure it doesn't crash our servers. Boss loot. Players should correctly receive 2 to 3 items after taking down a boss, depending on the creature's difficulty and level. This is something that Angry Joe mentioned in his review of it last night. Cryolator effects. Players hit with the cryolator are now chilled, frosted, and frozen depending on how many times they are hit. The duration of movement, speed reductions applied by these effects have also been decreased from 2 hours to 30 seconds. That seems good. Respawning when over-encumbered. We resolved an issue affecting players who die while over-encumbered that only allowed them to respawn at Vault 76. Now over-encumbered players will be able to respawn at the nearest discovered map market. Good. Stuck in power armor. We've addressed an issue in this patch that could cause players to become stuck inside the power armor. Now, this does not really address any of the long-term known issues from Fallout 4 that continue to plague players today in this game. But this is good news for players. And 1 week later, we already see planned fixes. First of all, on December 11th, PC editions, a push-to-talk setting for voice chat. Thank you, right? This is also something Angry Joe referenced in his review. It's almost like they watch his review and then they release this. Resolution and a field of view setting are all being implemented with PC on this update. That's great news. Two of the biggest gripes of the game, of course, are the voice push-to-talk settings and the field of view. Now, you can change the field of view by editing a file on your computer, but it should be part of the game. Special respec. This is another huge complaint about the game. After level 50, you'll be able to choose between a new perk card or moving a special point you had previously allocated. So allowing players to respec. This is a huge issue for casual players like myself, honestly, based on the fact that I work a full-time job and then I do this YouTube gig, which is another full-time job. When I get to play a game, it's barely for 30 to 45 minute increments, and sometimes I make a bad decision and I won't come back to the game for several weeks. Now, you reach the end of a game and you realize that you made a mistake in how you spec your character, you need to respec. Now, this feature, in my opinion, is done very well in the Dragon Quest series. Dragon Quest 11, one of my all-time favorites. Looking for the case. Can't find it. Must have moved it around. I do have Divinity Original Sin sitting here. But respecing is important because you never really know, unless you're a hardcore gamer and you really strategize, or you read all the strategy guides and you know what you want your final character to be. You're kind of just moving points around, making your best guess. Now, you can make mistakes. We all do. And the one huge complaint of this RPG, is that you couldn't respec. And that was a major, major, major update. So December 11th. Now, if they continue at this pace, well, let's get to that in a minute. Finally, camp placement on login. Your camp will no longer be automatically blueprinted and stored if someone is occupying your location when you log into a server. Instead, you'll receive a notification that your space is occupied. If you decide to find a new home for your camp on that server, it will be free to do so. However, if you don't attempt to place down your camp, you will be able to switch over to the new server where that spot is vacant. And Bulldozer. This is a new camp feature that will allow you to remove small trees, rocks, and other obstructions so it's easier to create and place your camp when and where you want it. You can also use the bulldozer to clear these items, the surrounding area, to make your camp feel more like home. Now that's a pretty fun feature. We know the size of our previous patch on November 19th was very large, and downloading it was a frustrating experience for many of you, especially those who primarily play Fallout 76 on consoles. We hear you, and we're working to reduce the size of our patch sizes forward so you can get back to the game as soon as possible on patch days. Thank you once again for continuing to share your thoughts and insight with the game in our official forums, on social media, and community channels. Keep it coming. We'll see you in the wasteland. Now, the question becomes, how dedicated will they be to be fixing things on a weekly basis? If the patch day is every Tuesday, if they can keep a consistent round of improvements coming to the game, how many weeks do we think it will take before the game is playable? At this rate, I'm guessing probably 4 to 6 weeks, which will put you into January sometime. If you are genuinely interested in Fallout 76, I would highly recommend waiting at least another month to see if Bethesda continues to roll out not only bug fixes, which are required, but also improvements, ways to make the game better. Perhaps actually bringing in human NPCs, which would probably be extraordinarily unlikely. I think where I'm sitting at this game, I've talked about it before, at $35, do I even want to try it? Not with all these bugs. I mean, the game is probably a 2 to a 4 out of 10. Now, if they fix all of these bugs in the next month, it maybe becomes just a 5 or a 6 to me. Without the NPCs, without the story, it is just kind of a expensive sandbox. And the complaints about how the game looks and feels and the reused assets is a major concern for anyone wanting to jump into it, and concern for players who love other Bethesda titles. But I think they're probably doing the only thing they really can do here, and that is committing to fixing all the problems. To be honest, I am really surprised that there are millions of players in Fallout 76. That number seems insane to me. with that in mind, knowing that they have that big of a player base, they're absolutely incentivized to fix this. Now, how will they further monetize this? Well, paying $5 to wear a beehive hairdo or $15 to color your armor suit blue isn't going to entice a lot of players. It might appeal to absolute whales who just don't care about gameplay, but how are they going to monetize this? Are they going to use the playing card packs with the bubblegum? How are they going to make up for this? Because when you have this gigantic project, certainly they've gone over budget. Now you're talking about keeping developers on these bug fixes for months longer than they probably thought they would. And what does this mean for upgrades to Fallout 76? If you bought Fallout 76 with the intention of getting, more game modes, more updates, the people that jumped in on launch day 2 weeks ago are going to be done with the content very soon. And then what? Right? Are they just going to do PvP all the time? Are you going to have time to roll out new interesting things for your base player base? Or are you going to have to spend all your time fixing all of these issues? Make no mistake, games companies across the world are watching this, watching how Bethesda handles it, watching what the customers do. And if the customers put up with too much BS from Bethesda, you can assume large companies like EA are going to follow suit and continue to hose customers. So I'm going to take a break from covering Fallout 76. I've got stuff to talk about with Red Dead, the CEO from Red Dead. I've got stuff to talk about with my new website. I've got stuff to talk about positive, good, wholesome stuff. So plan on that Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.